Good afternoon. Welcome to Newsfeed on this day, the 20th of November, the year being 2022. You're just in time for the latest in the world of news. I'm Wege William. Welcome to the broadcast. Now, starting off our bulletin matters, road safety ahead of the festive season is, according to an analysis by NTSA, indicates a 3% increase in road carnages as of November 2022, with fatalities recorded being of 4,432 compared to 4,279 during the same period last year, with the government announcing measures to curb the rising number through a heightened police presence in major roads countrywide. Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki and his counterpart of Transport Kipchumba Murkomen, a multi-agency crackdown will be undertaken to enforce traffic laws, stating past accidents reports indicate a high number of road carnage is human error.
This is most of you have seen it. Is there measures the government has put in place to avoid such an eventuality in case it happens?
Not only hosting us, but also for that introduction. The government has stepped up efforts to reduce this by adopting a multi-pronged strategy that entails public awareness and enforcement. We are working with citizens to promote personal responsibility by encouraging passengers in both private and public vehicles to speak out against reckless driving and other habits that endanger the lives of Kenyans. Indeed, we have said we are not helpless as Kenyans. Passengers should not act like they are helpless. You can do something. If you board a motor vehicle and the driver is drunk, you have a duty to either alight from that vehicle or to tell the owners of the motor vehicle to change the driver.
Yes, it is the intention of government to ensure that we reduce fatalities by taking preventive measures, and that is why we are warning all motorists and serving notice that beginning immediately these measures will take place. We expect the movements from tomorrow.
Alcohol stakeholders in Narok County have held a public rally to sensitize residents on the effects of illicit brew. The forum was led by South Rift National Authority for the Campaign Against Alcohol and Drug Abuse Manager Robert Olweni, a Narok County Executive Committee member in charge of Administration, Devolution and Liquor, Josephine Ngeno. Olweni says the illicit brewers mix ethanol with water, making it over 70% alcoholic, and sell to their customers at a cheap price, warning consumers to avoid the brew. Narok Central Sub-County Police Commander Frederick Shiundu said police will arrest all those who will be found consuming illicit brew during this festive season.
Sasa hawa watu wanachukuaga ethanol. Ethanol unajua ni kemikali. Wanaichanganya na maji alafu wanaweka ndani ya machupa. Hiyo ethanol sometimes unapata iko na karibu 70 hadi 90 ya pombe. Ile ndio mtu anakunywa hivi, inamchoma kabisa. Ile mbona mnasema ni kumikumi. Mtu anakunywa, anapoteza macho, alafu anasema hata mkazima stima tunaendelea kufanya nini?
Ukiona polisi, mimi kwanza nikikupata mpaka nikushike, kwa sababu ninajua inakudhuru. Pombe yote ambaye ni haramu, tukikupata mpaka tutakushika. Na tukikushika tutakuweka mahali pako. Hata polisi kuna wale wanakunywa kabisa.
The Liquor Directorate is already set. We have officers running in all the sub-counties. It is good to mention that. We have mapped out all the premises in the county, although this is an ongoing activity. We have done benchmarking with other sub-counties, and this still goes on because you cannot just stop there because so many things keep coming up. And then, of course, we have carried out programs in all the sub-counties, beginning with the public participation.
Trouble is brewing at Githongori constituency ranching company in Ruiru constituency following a leadership crisis. Members of Concerned Citizen Kenya, in conjunction with a group of people said to be genuine leaders of the company, have held a press conference to speak on the wrangles, accusing the registrar of companies, Joyce Koech, of imposing imposters as leaders. They claim the registrar of companies could be working with imposters to defraud members. Let's listen in.
Gathered here today to make this press statement in defense of Githongori Ranching Constituency Company Limited members. We members of Concerned Citizens Kenya, in conjunction with Githongori Constituency Ranching Company Limited, have called here today to highlight and bring to your attention the following issues. Leadership wrangles at Githongori Constituency Ranching Company Limited and the impact that has on its own ordinary members, Githongori Ranching Company Limited, owned by land in Githongori, and its membership is currently 6,000 members and 9 directors, namely Stanley Kibuku Njoroge, Joseph Kenyanjui Mudhoni, Teresia Wangoi Madhai, Ahmed Gekera Chege, John Remoe Wawero, Henry Wainaina Kihoro, Rahab Joki Wanjohi, Elijah Ngoge Njoroge, and Jane Jerry Kimani. And it's headed by a chairman whose name is Ahmed Chege Gekera. Leadership wrangles has risen in the company, and this was at a matter which went through the court process to establish who duly elected directors are. Judicial review, miscellaneous application, civil case number 479 of 2016, where Judge Odunga directed the registrar of company, Mrs. Joyce Koech, to register the named directors as the directors of the company following a last annual general member meetings held on 23rd day of May 2015. However, from that day, the orders that were given, to date, the registrar of company has never complied.
Well, moving on, first wives within the Lake Region Economic Bloc are now building synergies among themselves and with the governors to tackle cross-cutting gender issues considered to be barriers to the social economic development of the region. The campaign will be carried out in Busia, Homa Bay, Kakamega and Vihiga counties. According to LREB leaders, the focus will put on nutrition and sanitation, which includes menstrual health of women and school-going girls, noting that gender-based violence was rampant in all the region's 14 counties. The CEO of the bloc, Victor Nyang'aya, said LREB is partnering with Indian government on several partnerships on the provision of solar panels, green energy and the development of an inter-county railway network, among others, through the ministries of energy.
And these areas are in the area of health, focusing mainly on cancer issues. We also looked at improving our nutrition, which means then we are going to advocate for agriculture and food crops and vegetable gardens. We also looked at the area of sanitation and menstrual health, both for our women at home and our school-going children. They need to be supported in those areas. We looked at the elderly as well, and this was in the pillar of safety and security.
Are partnering with the Indian government on several partnerships. We are talking of solar panel, green energy, inter-county railway networks. We are partnering on the green mantra, which is by 100% biodegradable. These are all supported by the Indian government through the Ministry of Railway and through the Ministry of Power.
With poverty levels in Busia, Bungoma County is recording an increase in cases of gender-based violence due to victims' hesitancy in filing reports to relevant authorities in the affected areas. Speaking during the farewell ceremony of former Bungoma Township Chief Joseph Chingoli in Mukisoma Village, Kandui constituency. Bungoma South DCC Duncan Okwach has decried an increase in GBV cases due to community interferences. Local authorities have also called on area residents to avoid excessive alcohol consumption during this festive season.
Kuuliza raia anasema kuna kesi nyingi za uhalifu, lakini ukiangalia kwa ripoti ya polisi hakuna ripoti yote. So sisi tunawaomba kama wananchi, hata kama mkosa gani, yaani upige ripoti kwa polisi. Na pia kuna hii mambo ya kusikizana kesi kienyeji, kesi zinamaliza chini. Kuna hii kesi ya kushika watoto mingi sana, imejaa sana, kesi ya defilement ambazo haziendi mbali, zinamaliziwa hapa chini. So yetu ni kuomba kuwa kesi yoyote piga ripoti polisi.
Bwana Assistant Acting Chief wa township, ndio necessary. Mambo ya watu kulewa hapa ovyo ovyo hatutaki. Jana kuna mama mwingine aliua bwana yake. Mzee alikuwa ameenda kunywa pombe, akirudi hivi mama akachukua rungu akapanga yeye chini. You see the consequence ya changa na busa na kagala. Na kila siku mnamkeka nini? Jamani, we can't lose life sababu ya changa na kagala.
With poverty levels in Busia County hitting 89%, youth and women in the county have been urged to join chamas to tackle poverty that continues to affect many in the county. Led by Nambale Member of Parliament Geoffrey Mulanya, the leaders called on residents to embrace farming to tackle hunger and earn a living as a result. Residents, however, called on the leaders to provide them with training on managing chamas and merry-go-round groups.
Mradi wanachama wengi
watu wanalia huko Turkana wapi hata ng'ombe inakufa, hata ndovu zinakufa sababu ya kiangazi, lakini hapa Mungu ametujalia tuko na jua, tuko na mvua. Nataka tukipambana tujaribu kuinua hali yetu. Ngali ya saa hii wanasema pesa mingi inakuja kwa vikundi, hakuna pesa ya serikali inakuja kwa nyumba kwako wewe binafsi.
Wamama wakiungana kwa vyama kama hivi ni njia moja haswa ya kupiga hatua ya kimaendeleo, kwa sababu inashughulikia mambo mengi, mambo ya biashara, mambo ya kilimo, mambo ya hata kutafuta fedha ya kupelekea watoto shule. Nataka kuhimiza wamama wengi wa Buhayo East wajiunge na vyama na waunge.
Moving on, Boda operators in Nandi County have resorted to coming up with initiatives like charity work so as to avert societal mentality linking them to matters insecurity. Addressing the Boda operators, Nandi County Commissioner Herman Shambi said his office will work closely with the sector to spur development projects in the county. On their part, the riders called on their colleagues in the sector to abide by the law and uphold discipline so as to reduce cases of insecurity allegedly carried out by the operators.
Wengi wamekuwa wakisema bodaboda ni watu wabaya, chochote kibaki kitokea kinahusishwa na bodaboda. Tunataka wananchi sasa watambue ya kwamba bodaboda wamejipanga, wako sawa na wamejipanga pia kunufaika na pesa ambayo imetolewa na serikali ya Mheshimiwa Rais ya Hustlers Fund.
Na kwa mara nyingi China bodaboda imechukuliwa vibaya sana. Ndio maana kwamba tulipokaa chini kama viongozi wa Nandi County wa bodaboda tukakubaliana kwamba hata na sisi tunaweza toa tukarudisha kwa community. Ndio maana siku ya leo tumesema kwamba tunapoelekea kusherehekea sikukuu za Krismasi, hata na hao watoto mayatima pia na wao waweze kusherehekea.
To the coast region, women living along the coastline in Kwale County have started to embrace fishing through a campaign aimed at encouraging people to eat more fish as part of realizing Cabinet Secretary Salim Vuya's goal of increasing the nation's GDP through blue economy. The coastal women in fisheries entrepreneurship cites the idea of consuming more fish will increase food nutrition and creation of more job opportunities. At the same time, the Cabinet Secretary for Mining and Blue Economy, Salim Vuya, has assured his support in promoting the sector.
Tuko na vikundi vya kina mama ambao tunawafanyia training, tunawasemesha jinsi ya kufanya value addition na kuprocess samaki. Kazi ambayo tunafanya kwa kina mama, Tunanunua samaki baharini, tunaleta manyumbani kwetu, tunawatengeneza, wengine tunapeleka sokoni. Every function inapofanyikana huwa tunafanya Eat More Fish campaign. Eat More Fish campaign tuna introduce samaki wetu, tuna market samaki wetu ili katika hii local market ambayo tuko nayo hiyo hapa Kenya tuhakikishe Wakenya wenyewe wametosheka kula samaki.
Na jambo la kwanza tutahakikisha hizi BMUs na wale wavuvi wote tutaweka katika makundi ya vyama vya ushirika. Alafu pia tuweze kuwasaidia na madau ambao wanaweza sasa wakafanya shughuli hizi vizuri na vifaa na mafunzo. Na pia tutafungua soko. Wakati tunazungumzia kwa mfano Liwatoni pia iko na soko ya samaki. Kwa hivyo tutahakikisha kwamba samaki hawakai hivi hivi, lazima kuwe na soko ya mauzo ambao wanaweza kuwauzia wananchi.
Now to Nzoia County's matter insecurity. Insecurity cases have been on the rise in Kitale town, with the recent case being yesterday in broad daylight, where a businessman was attacked and robbed along Kenyatta Street in Kitale town. 3 casualties are nursing injuries after they were shot in the attack. We are now joined by our reporter Boniface Barasa from Nzoia County with the latest. Boniface, if you can hear me.
Good afternoon to Mwege William, and we're coming to you live from Kenyatta Street, along Kenyatta Street in Kitale town, Nzoia County, where the yesterday incident happened during the in broad daylight, where a businessman was robbed and also shot. And the recent reports indicate that the businessman has succumbed, and also another fella who was in the same shop was shot by the attackers or by the robbers. The robbers flew away using a motorbike, and they flew away with a sum of amount that has not been estimated so far. And we want to engage the residents and also the business community from Nzoia just to give us their take. How do they perceive the recent attack during the day? Tell us your name. Tumeona jana hilo shambulio. Je, kama mfanyabiashara limekutia hofu?
Kama mfanyabiashara, kama mtu anaweza pigwa risasi katikati ya town, hii ni kumaanisha kuwa patrol haijakuwa ikiendelea, kwa sababu risasi mtu anapigwa katikati ya town saa 11 kamili na anauliwa, na si mtu mmoja anapigwa risasi, watu karibu 3 wanapigwa risasi. Hii ni kuonyesha kuwa the security apparatus na patrol ambayo iko hii town si patrol ambayo iko na nguvu. Hii inamaanisha sisi wale wanabiashara ambao tunafanya kule ndani, kama mtu anauliwa town, sasa kule ndani tutafanya biashara aje? Tunataka kuita ile the security apparatus wa hii nchi, tuwaambie wamakinike na wakuwe imara, waache kuongea sana. Tunataka kuona askari wakitembea na pia askari wakiimarisha usalama. Tumechoka na hii matukio ambayo imekuwa ikitokea.
Asante. The robbers or the attackers used the motorbike. Being a bodaboda operator, unazungumziaje swala hili ambapo wahalifu hao walikuwa wanatumia bodaboda?
Kwa kitokeo cha jana ambayo ilikuwa inafanyika, nasikitika sana kwa issue ambayo ilifanyika jana, na hao wezi wamekuwa wakitumia motorbike. Na sisi kama wana bodaboda katika town hii ya Nzoia, hii issue ya security na kuhusu bodaboda, tusichukulie kwamba sisi wana bodaboda ndio tunafanya hiyo kitendo. Mtu anaweza enda akaingia kwa duka akanunua motorbike chake, then akakuja akatumia hiyo kifaa kwamba wana bodaboda wanafanya hiyo kitendo. Sisi hatuna hiyo kitendo. Tunataka tu security ifuatilie vizuri, waache kuweka issue kwamba bodaboda ndio wanafanya hizi kitendo, na ni mtu mwenyewe anaweza enda akanunua dukani bodaboda chake kisha akaanza kutumia kitendo kicho kama hicho.
Asante. Kama county government, as a county government, what are you doing in terms of cooperating with security apparatus to curb these issues?
Thank you, my brother. First and foremost, I think tayari governor wetu ameamrisha kuwa na mkutano wa usalama, na tunapoongea sasa usalama umearishwa kabisa, na pia tunaendelea kuomba kwamba hata pia watu wetu wa Nzoia, unapokuwa ukiona tukio ambalo si ya kawaida, kuwa mwepesi wa kuweza kupiga ripoti, ili utaweza kusaidia wale ambao wanahusika na usalama kuweza kunasa ama kuweza kutibua mpango wote kama ile ambayo ilitokea jana. Tunataka kusema pole kwa familia ambayo ilipoteza. Najua tukio kama hilo tunaomba Mungu hizi tukie tena.
Lastly, in 30 seconds.
Kwa majina mimi naitwa Buseki, na ningependa kusema pia security wetu wameweza kusembea kabisa, kwa sababu hii tokeo si mara moja. Tumeangalia watu wakibiwa simu, mtu anapiga simu, watu wanapanda kwa pikipiki wanawaibia simu. So tumeangalia pia security jakuwa mzuri sana. Ukiangalia kama jana hao watu wamekuja kama watu wawili wamebebana kwa motorbike, around watu 3 na wanashoot tu watu, na tunapoangalia security yetu bado waonekani. So mimi ningeomba county government na DCIO na OCS Waktale pia na ni hawa watu wa pikipiki pia, wakubwa wa pikipiki, chairman za pikipiki waweze kukaa chini, waweze kuangalia hii shida inaweza kutokea wapi, waweze kusuluhisha kwa haraka sana.
Thank you. For the interest of time, allow me to end there. But first thing first, the attack happened yesterday at 5 p.m. in the evening, where they robbed a businessman, shot him, also his employee, and on their way when they were fleeing, they also shot a Boda operator was trying to trace them, and they were shooting aimlessly just to scare the public and not to follow them. And it is an issue that comes barely 2 years after another incident was reported along the same street, where a businessman was shot during the day. He was heading to the bank to bank his money, and he was shot to death. For the interest of time, I hand it over back to you, Mwige William.
That is our very own Boniface Baraza engaging residents of Kitale on matters security. Now, switching gears to matters health, a section of Konyango villages in Seme sub-county, Kisumu County, today held demonstrations at the Bongo dispensary to decry lack of health services from the facility. Led by Owino Yago, residents say despite the county government building the dispensary, its management has failed to provide medical services, alleging that medical personnel have neglected the facility, leaving the locals suffering. However, a comment from the dispensary management off camera alluded that the accused medical personnel had already been transferred and a new management was taking over.
Assigned here to look for our welfare as concerns our health, and the facility is here purposely to serve the community, but it is not so. You know, you can come here as a patient and there is no medicine, you are told, and most of the time the doctor is not there. So we are wondering, why is the hospital here if it cannot serve the interest of the community? We have told our grievances to the village admin, you know, the assistant chief and all the concerned people. And let me tell you, for the past 1 week, we have been without any treatment here, simply because the doctor is not there.
Tuko na shida kwa sababu utakuta hata kama mtoto ni mgonjwa, ukikuja hapa hakuna mwenye atakushughulikia. Pia kuna wamama wazee, saa ingine ametoka mbali kidogo, akifika hapa anakuta hakuna mwenye anaweza kumshughulikia.
In a bid to end rampant cattle rustling that has been deeply rooted in Tiati constituency of Baringo County, the national strategy to counter violent extremism in Kenya has initiated a livelihood program targeting youth and women in the area. According to them, women and youth play an integral part in the society today. If armed with the right skills and information, these two groups of people will help security forces in countering radicalization and violent extremism through interactions in the community. Women often have access to valuable information that can help in identifying early warning signs of radicalization and violent extremism among the youth. Due to the poor relationship and lack of trust between them and the police, information is usually not shared.
So we are also sensitizing the people in terms of the mindset and behavioral change, especially the youth and women. And we are happy that this particular program, through the partnership of National Center for Counterterrorism, through a funding from European Union, that will go a long way to ensure that there is stability in this particular region. And through that, incrementally, we will reduce the incidences of cattle rustling.
Naona itaenda kupungua kwa sababu unajua huko kwetu pia huko ndio boda ya Turkana.
Unaona sometimes watu wakiona kitu kingine, unajua kuna mtu anazaliwa hapo, anakuwa mkubwa hapo, hajaona vitu zingine ziki huko nje. Naona venye tukipewa kitu yenye wanaona kama mama anafanya hii, pia watafunguka akili na wataacha kwenda huko chini. Wataanza kuona kumbe kuna asali pia, na kumbe kuna vitu zingine mtu anaweza fanya. Mtu anaweza uza ng'ombe yake pia akuwe na bodaboda na afanye kazi. At least akili yao inafunguka wakiona vitu zingine, naone watu new watu wenye ni new wakikuja huko wanaona at least venye watu wanavaa, hata wanaona maybe wanataka pia kukua kama wao. Ni vizuri sana, itawafungua akili, sababu pia ni kama hawajai toka huko. Kuna mtu anazaliwa hapo na amekaa hapo maisha yake yote.
Tangu 2007 nika-reform kwa mambo ya cattle rustling, mambo ya kuipa. Tulikuwa tunaipa Marakwet, tunaipa Turkana, tunaipa Samburu, hata GMC. Lakini tulikuwa tukiona kwamba hii maneno ametulet down. Tumewacha wenzetu wakibaki huko. Tukaitana kama kikundi na tukasanyana, tukapata kikundi ya watu 100 na tukafanya mambo ya kibiashara kutoka 2010 na tukafanya mambo ya biashara.
In Baringo specifically, we went for Tiati to build resilience among the community members and also try and bring peace. By doing that and improve their livelihoods. By doing that, we are also as an institution ensuring that the youth in this area get other alternative ways of living.
Now to the world of sports. The National Olympic Committee of Kenya confirmed the 2 federations who sent affiliation requests and documentation have joined them. The federation, which include Kenya Triathlon Federation and Kenya Baseball Federation, had sent affiliation to join NOC earlier this year and were confirmed during the National Olympic Committee of Kenya ordinary session of the General Assembly of the year 2022. During the General Assembly, few agendas were tabled, which include presentation and adoption of the 2023 annual budget, the minutes of the Electoral General Assembly of the 9th December 2021, the audited accounts for the year ending 31st December 2021, and the 2023 Games program.
Accepting 2 members, the National Olympic Committee grows organically and also grows through membership. And so any new member wishing to join us and is in compliance with the Kenyan rules, with the International Federation, with the International Olympic Committee, when they make application and we might do their verification, then we are able to accept them. And we are very happy that the General Assembly has contacted one of its most important role of adding members. Kenya Baseball Federation and Kenya Triathlon Federation are now official members of the National Olympic Committee.
Kenyan marathoners Alice Jepkemoi Kimutai and Johnston Kibet Mayo have been banned for 3 years by the Athletic Integrity Unit for doping violations. Porto Marathon champion Jepkemoi tested positive for the male hormone testosterone and Captagat on September 20th, with her ban starting on November 16th, while Kibet Mayo returned a positive test for Ediopoetin at the Kigali International Peace Marathon on May 20th, 2022, with his ban starting on July 20th this year. Meanwhile,